Hello, hello, hello. My name is Araceli Esparza, and I am the founder and CEO of Midwest Mujeres Collective. That means Midwest Women. And this is our evaluation storytelling essay for the Match Grant and how that grant helped us propel for the future for Midwest Mujeres and how we use that money. So we utilize that money essentially to fund our annual Yo Quiero Dinero event. This was our second event that we've had. So our first one was done in 2021, and our second one was done in 2022. Uh, and so I'm going to go through these short sections to answer the questions that were proposed to us. What does it mean? What does being part of a community organization mean to you? So I'm showing you a picture here of part of the pre-events that we did leading up to Yo Quiero Dinero, and they were all Zoom events. So being part of a community organization to me means that I can call on all type of women to to help or ask them what they want in programming. So if you look at the picture a little bit more bigger, I'm not really sure, because a lot of times we get this information from people that don't look like us, that who aren't, from the same background as we are. And so I think that that's what it means for being part of a community organization. And this is from the day of the Yo Quiero Dinero event. So being part of an organization means that I can show up with radical self-expression and that will be okay. So I feel belonging and safety to being there. So I think like you can see like that's me in the middle, and these are some of the speakers. These are some of the ladies who attended. Like some of our sponsors are here too, and they just like showed, they said to the photographer said to us like, "Hey, do a funny pose." And we just took advantage of the time. So I thought that was really fun. It was a really fun moment for us. And I think that's what it means for me to be part of an organization and leading this community organization is that we can radically be ourselves and be extravagant in that moment. And so prior to COVID-19, what were the key concerns of my community organization? I didn't have a community organization prior to COVID-19. I had an enterprise called Wisconsin Mohair. And Wisconsin Mohair key concerns were to develop content for our clients. But when the pandemic hit, it was clear that education was the key to closing the wage gap for women of color. Because of COVID-19, many women of color left the workforce, but at the same time, they were forced to use the internet in ways that they hadn't before. So I think prior to that, I mean, I just didn't have any. What were the prior concerns? I think were still education, but it was very like the traditional education. Like online learning was not, it did not seem like a legitimate thing that low income women of color could participate in, and nor do they know how to access it or to tell apart from what was like maybe a scam, where it would like cost you a lot of money to like where it would actually feed your own ambitions. And so that I think was kind of like what has changed. So how did COVID-19 impact Midwest Mujeres? I think COVID-19 impact Midwest Mujeres to dream a new dream. We started as Wisconsin Mujer, which is a social engagement and media enterprise, and we rebranded to becoming Midwest Mujeres because we wanted to call in all the intersections of our identities and pay tribute to the influences of Chicago, Milwaukee, and Minneapolis. And this time of pause allowed us to pursue funding to create a meetup of Yo Quiero Dinero. So out of that, the meetup happened. But and as you kind of move on to us and like maybe check us out on YouTube as well, you can see that we also hosted so many different events. So I did my undergrad at U of M in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and so I had during the pandemic. What happened was our George Floyd was murdered, and they had the demonstrations. And so I think I don't think I know that part of the rebranding was also because I wanted to call in those experiences that I've had in other places besides Wisconsin, but were very similar in Midwest in very particular ways, that the Midwest racializes us. And so what ways did your organization respond to COVID-19? So we talked a little bit about the Zooms and like the education. So here's a sample of like an access hour that we partnered with our local radio station. And so we had Latinas in leadership, the challenges of motherhood, career, and community building. And then we said Midwest Mujeres responded in hosting various online events. and Zoom panel talks. Our subjects range from anti-Blackness to the Latino community, to Latino arts, to public health issues like this one. And then we held updates on the COVID vaccination and how to stay healthy with local health leaders. All of these videos can be seen on our YouTube channel. So they're still very much live. So this is one that we held with Dr. Patricia Tejas Guillon and Shiva Badar, both leaders in the health industry here in Madison, Wisconsin. We also boasted at one point, Dean County boasted like the highest per capita vaccination for Latinos in the whole country. And that has everything to do with the trust that we have in our community organizations. And so I wanted to reflect that trust and celebrate it in a way through Zooms and panel discussions. So how did we use the money funded by the Just Recovery? We used the funding to pay for the space, the speakers, and the interpretation of Yo Quiero Dinero event on June 3rd. So a lot of people think that Midwest Mujeres is just for women. We actually have several men here, and this here's one of our male-bodied participants and organizers, and he's manning one of our tables. Here's some women setting up a table, and they were engaging. So it's definitely a networking, engaging hour prior to having the speakers there. And here is one of our speakers. This is Adina Apollo. She's an immigrant lawyer from Immigrant Finances. She owns her own company called Immigrant Finances, and she came all the way from New York and to speak to us on how people can invest their money without using a social security card number. This is very important for many Latino, Latina people who use ITIN numbers for their finances. And it was a primer for those of us who were, and there was many of us who were first gen in the room. And so many of us who are even first generation who are able to invest oftentimes don't because we're scared. It's just not the way our parents taught us how to move our money. So what do I hope for the future of Midwest Mujeres? Here's a nice picture of us. Now we're not being silly, we're being serious, kind of. We know we have the structure to continuing on our online courses, and we pay our students to learn. We teach them how to write their stories, how to create and expand their online platform, and how to be a public speaker. And all of those skills are so necessary if you're holding your own business, if you're changing your careers. And so I'll pop over to I think it was, sharing the screen. I hope so. It's hopefully showing you our website. And it talks about our mission, which is to reduce the poverty income inequality by providing educational online opportunities that support underrepresented women entrepreneurs to grow their dreams. And we talk about the cohorts, cohort 1, 2, and 3. And what brings us together is the culture. Yeah, we're unapologetically who we are. Here's some of the women that we collaborate and that are part of our mentoring program. Here's how you can apply to be part of our virtual group. Our membership now boasts over 30 women. Our virtual group boasts over 900 women. Yeah. And we have a podcast. And here's our advisory board. And we're looking to becoming a nonprofit organization in the next 6 months to a year. Here's the Flickr account where you can also view all the pictures from our Yo Quiero Dinero event. So what's my hope? We know that we have the structure to continue this. I think my hope for our group is that each of us grow who we are authentically, that we find our niche in the digital online space, and that we celebrate each other's wins in a way that's authentic and engaging. So here's our Flickr. I figured out how to add a section for our Flickr account so you can go in there and look at all of the pictures. Yay! I know, this is so amazing. There's Afra, our other speaker, who we had intergenerational folks. We had women that were in their 60s to 70s all the way to women in their 20s. So we're definitely about being intergenerational, and we are very accepting of our LGBTQ folks as well. So this was really amazing, just having having folks from our queer community, having Black women there, having men there, just like every facet of our community. And meeting ourselves in an intersectional place. It was really important. And so that's our wrap for today. And we are at 12 minutes. Exciting. Okay. Talk to you all later. Thank you so much for the funding, and please follow us on social and see what we're up to next. Bye-bye.